Previously on Star Trek Dawn of the Federation, the USS Aurora was tasked with investigating the fate of a Vulcan scientific mission to Gamma Serpentis 4. After nearly a month's travel at high warp, Captain Vogel and his crew discovered no signs of the Vulcan Science Academy vessel in orbit or its crew on the ground. However, an away team did beam down despite the ship having received a combination distress and do not approach beacon from the planet's surface. Shortly after the away team beamed down, the Aurora began suffering from various small malfunctions in different systems. Communication with the ship was soon lost. On the planet, Lieutenant Nomi Merrick managed to cobble together a translation of the alien language surrounding a strange control center, bringing the power core back online. While in orbit, the malfunctions accelerated. The impulse engines threw the ship into a decaying orbit before shutting down, and helm control has been lost. We start today's session on the surface of Gamma Serpentis 5. So, pretty much picking up right where we left off. Lieutenant Merrick has just powered on the systems. You guys kind of hear hums, a little bit of creaking as the outpost you're in comes back online. There are several flashing kind of fluorescent magenta uh, symbols and strings of symbols on various displays here in the control room, which you have not deciphered yet. I believe you should only, if I've got things set right, you should only be seeing 3 rooms with the rest of the map blacked out.
Yep.
Okay.
Right.
So there we are. Things have just come back online.
Well, that's a start. What's the next step?
Next step is reading what on earth all this means.
Well, I believe I'll leave that to our translator.
All right, so Merrick, you've got a lot more to work with now. Give me an insight science difficulty 2 as you are kind of looking at all the different text popping up and scrolling across the displays.
Xenolinguistics for a focus.
Most definitely.
Take a threat.
Insight science, and I will assist with that.
All right.
It's a good way to start the game off, I think.
Ooh, nicely done. So it looks like I'm counting 4 momentum gained. Let me message. Sorry, I'm having to type around a cat. Ow.
Commander, it seems that the language is in Ikobar. I think I'm pronouncing that right. similar too. A few adjustments to the universal translator should help us analyze the language further.
Okay, so
Similar to what? I didn't catch that.
usually the way the universal translator is working in this time period is that you're tying in your scanner for written language, yes, true, versus or your communicator for spoken language into the ship's computer system, which of course has a much uh, larger database and faster processing power than your hand scanners do. So this is going to require you're working, Nomi, your hand scanner has a kind of more stripped down basic version of the universal translator. So with communications to the ship cut off, you're not working with your usual resources. So this is going to be for you an extended task, starting at difficulty 4, mag 4, work 25, resistance 2.
And what stats are I rolling?
Oh, yes, my fault. This is going to be reason, well, reason, science, or engineering, whichever one you want to use. Yeah, and since you're not back in touch with the ship, you're still at this.
They're the same, but I'm going to go with reason engineering since I have a talent that will apply.
Okay.
Bold engineering.
Yeah, I'll assist with science.
Unfortunately, since she's doing this through, basically her handheld copy of part of the Universal Translators database, it's not really possible for her to get a assist from another person on this.
Uh, I'm going to spend my determination on language is the key to understanding.
Yep, I'll take that.
And take a threat, and I'm going to spend a momentum for the third die.
How many threat?
1.
Okay.
So 5.
All right, so you gain 1 momentum. Roll 2 plus your engineering and challenge dice. So I'm looking at 4 work, counting the resistance.
I'm going to spend a momentum to reroll 2.
So that is a breakthrough.
That's 6 work.
6 work and a breakthrough.
Keep going, I assume.
Yeah. So what you've got for Ikabar in the translator is, it's basically a kind of a root word lexicon. As you get into this, you are thinking that Ikabar might actually be a language that is descended from the one you're working with,
or an offshoot of a more basic
yeah.
language.
You it's either an offshoot or this one is kind of where Ikabar comes from. So it turns out that working with a very kind of basic root word lexicon is going to be in your favor, because that's going to be the easiest way getting back to the older language. So yeah, go ahead.
I have testing a theory, which when you're attempting a task using engineering or science, you may roll 1 additional d20 so long as you succeed at the previous task covering the same scientific or technical field.
Yep. So I'm looking at difficulty 3, magnitude 3, work 19, resistance is still 2.
take a threat, and I'm spending momentum for the 4th die.
Okay.
I'm assuming xenolinguistics applies here.
Yeah. Wow.
You know what? I'm gonna roll myself into a complication.
Okay. I did that last night.
Yeah.
Oh well. So it's difficulty 3, so I'm looking at 4 momentum gain total.
Yep.
Which caps your pool. And roll your challenge dice. All right, now you're at 3.
1 for piercing.
All right, which gets you to 5 and another breakthrough. So you tell us what happened.
I believe I isolated the syntax on some base root for the language. It's taking a little longer than I thought it would, Commander.
Well, I've got some time, no rush.
All right, so are you guys just hanging out in here while she's working on the translation?
I don't want to touch anything unless I touch something wrong and it explodes. So
I was told not to go first.
Fair enough. So, all right, you're down to difficulty 2, magnitude 2, work, I think 14, and resistance 2.
Okay. So assuming testing theory still applies.
Yep.
I'm going to spend give you a threat and a momentum for the 4th die.
I'm gonna have to start spending some threats soon.
Reroll the 0. So I think that's 3 momentum, so 1 float.
Mm-hmm. Looking at 3 right now.
I'm gonna spend the float on piercing.
All right, so that is the 3rd breakthrough. Let us know where you're at.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm really. Yeah.
Yes, Commander. This looks promising. It's definitely an offshoot of this language that I thought it was.
All right. Probably knock it out in this one. You guys are capped with momentum.
So same thing. 1 threat, 1 momentum.
So you're at 1, 1, 119. Wow. So 4 momentum gain. You got 3 float. So you're looking at 3 work.
1 of the float to piercing, and the others into extra work, which probably. I think that's the 4th breakthrough.
I'm sorry, what?
1 of the float into piercing, and then there was 3 floats, so the other 2 into extra work.
That completes the task. All right. So first off, you're able to figure out what's going on with those flashing neon magenta lights.
Oh, this is definitely not good, Commander. If I'm reading this correctly, those lights over there are indicating that the power core is currently unstable. or will become unstable in 12 hours, resulting in either an emergency shutdown or a catastrophic failure.
So we don't have time after all. All right. Is this the source of the transmission?
For a momentum, you've got some float. And there is more information to be learned here.
Sure, I'll spend the.
Actually, no, I won't make you spend that momentum since you're the one who took it. Here, I'll type it in.
The transmission was a standard Vulcan emergency beacon, Commander.
So it's not coming from in here.
Potentially the beacon somewhere else inside this facility. I would assume.
So you've still got 3 float. Are there any other questions, advantages you'd like to create?
All right. Does this facility have its own communication system? Can we relay our transmissions through here to the ship?
Yeah. So 2 momentum.
Actually, I think that's all the float at that point.
You spent 1 for that bit of information, so you've still got 2.
I spent 1 though for piercing. So.
Oh, okay. Anybody else want to do anything?
So do we know what this room actually is? It's a command room of some kind, clearly, but can we do anything with it, or are we just getting
For a momentum spend, I'll let you give you some information about what this room appears to be from what you can tell.
I don't know, it's up to you guys. Do you think it's worth it?
We'll spend it.
All right.
The panel in front of you, Commander, is appears to be some sort of galactic coordinate space system. some sort of potentially kins of transportation routing and other display systems are throughout the actual interfaces here. Potentially, this could be some sort of trying to think of the term. Control tower.
Right. So for ships or other vessels in the area, or what?
That or a watchtower of some sort.
Oh, okay.
Monitoring stations.
Suddenly, the
Right.
entire facility begins to vibrate, and there is a sudden violent shaking. If any of your characters have spent any time in earthquake-prone areas, you recognize it immediately. Um, there's a tremendous lurch and a huge crashing sound from, I'm pinging it on the lower part of your screen, from this area. Rending metal, uh, things falling and hitting metal, and then the everything settles back down.
Well, that was definitely a wake-up call. I think we need to be moving on. We're probably finding out what that was.
Yes, Lieutenant Merrick, see if you can get us a comm channel to the ship. Commander Erickson, see if you can get that reactor stabilized. We'll see how long we have. Rest of us, we need to see if we can find the source of that transmission.
Aye, sir.
GM.
Alright.
So we created that advantage earlier to get communications up. Is that correct? On the float.
I do not recall that.
Oh, never mind. Yeah.
Wasn't there insufficient floating?
Right, you lost communications when you got down here. As far as I recall, you haven't done anything to try and restore them with the ship.
No, that was going to be like a side thing, but I don't think we had any indication we needed to speak to them yet.
Can I get? I want to attempt to see if I can't like get some sort of internal sensors online.
Okay. So you're dealing with a kind of alien language. So yeah, I'm going to make this a control engineering difficulty of 2.
I assume I can't help with this because I can't read anything.
Unfortunately, you're correct.
Unfortunately, right. Okay.
Xenolinguistics.
Yes.
Take a threat. Yay for bold engineering.
Okay. Okay, so you cap back up your momentum. Yes, internal sensors. What are you looking for on them?
Other life forms as well as a general map to potentially guide
Okay,
them.
so the only life forms appear to be the 5 of you in this room, at least inside this facility. You see that the area you are on has 4 more chambers. The lower one here appears to be a large maintenance elevator running both up towards the upper reaches of this kind of, this outpost is kind of perched on it's in the mountains, and they've apparently, flattened part of it to make a level place for that had landing access, and then this building which extends both down into the mountains, eventually way down there is the power core. You can see the engineering level there, and then it also extends upward, although part of that has been wrecked into kind of a tower, and what once upon a time was a communications array. And top here and bottom here, both seem to, from what you can make out, are labeled basically door room or doorway room. And this, if you're translating it right, is labeled as security.
Commander, the room to the south appears to be some sort of I guess elevator shaft that leads to various sectors of the station, including the power core, as well as up to the surface, where looks like some sort of landing platform. The room across the hall is some sort of security room. And there's this strange thing that they're referring to as a doorway.
Yes, that sounds probably the elevator, whatever they use, falling down. We'll check the security room first.
Shall I come with you, Commander? And it's not much I can do in here without a translation of what's LFM's reading.
All right.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, you're not having to manually do the doors. They slide open as you approach. You don't even have to press a panel on the side as you do on the Aurora.
Okay, does that include the security room door?
Yes, from this side it opens right up. Let me. Is that where you're headed first?
Yeah.
Okay. Me.
I mean, the three of you go in there. I'm going to stay here with the lieutenant.
Okay. You should be able to see that now.
Just in case anything happens.
Okay. So yeah, this appears to be some sort of device that is tall and wide enough for someone to walk through, but only about one at a time. It's like an archway with all sorts of scanners built in. Basically, it appears that the path would come from the door to the north. You would cross through this device and exit through the door to the south. Looks like there's a main monitoring control station here. The machine does appear to be on, although some of the screens are flickering.
Well, doesn't this look friendly? Now, either there's a transport hub near here, or somebody's getting, I don't know, scanned for contraband. I did say this was a security.
Yes, most likely. All right, we'll try south first.
Okay. Okay. There is, as you see, there is on the far wall this large, call it 12 feet in diameter, circular aperture that is active. All the screens and everything in here are active. Someone roll me a plain D6.
D6.
4. So as you walk in, you see through this ring with just a very slight kind of bluish sheen, but clear as day. On the other side, you see a metallic room, perhaps a space station or somewhere, because the opposite wall appears to be jagged, edges blackened, and you're seeing directly out into raw space. So you see that as you walk in the door, and then that disappears to be replaced by a view of a planet under a orange sun. It appears to be the soil appears to be kind of reddish. You look like you're looking out from an elevated platform. You see a little bit of stone in front. It appears to be a very barren world. Kind of reminds you of Mars in the early terraforming days from your history books. And that stays for about 20 seconds. And then it shifts again. Once again, you're looking out from some sort of the inside of some sort of building onto a very lush, verdant green landscape. You can see ruins across the way that have been covered with vines, very heavy, like jungle-like growth. Again, 20 seconds, and that shifts. You're looking at some kind of frozen world, minimal atmosphere. You'd guess maybe class L. 20 seconds after that, it shifts again to class Y planet, blasted terrain. There appears to be kind of sickly yellowish gases prevalent in the atmosphere. There is a large and incredibly bright blue sun. 20 seconds later, and you're looking at the bridge of the Aurora from the pretty much the perspective as if you were standing in the well that leads to the captain's ready room. You see the tactical alert lights are flashing. People are running around with very purposefully. The captain appears to be kind of leaned over, saying something urgent to the helms person, who is frantically tapping at her board. In all of these scenes, you don't hear any noise. There's no sucking of atmosphere or anything like that. You're just seeing the images. And then 20 seconds after that, the battle damaged station appears again.
Well, I was about to say that this was some sort of impressive painting, but that looked like actual live footage. Is this some sort of hollow spying device, do we think?
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a quick scan.
Okay. Let's do reason science difficulty 2.
Science 2.
And what are you looking for before you roll? What are you trying to find out?
Try to ascertain what it is. Is it like a literal physical space-time connection, or is it just a holo projector?
Okay. So,
Okay.
yeah, in that case, take it down to 1.
Okay, excellent. 3, 2, 1, and oh, wait, I'm only rolling 1 dice. Whoops.
Yeah, you need to roll.
There you go.
So, yes, because what you basically do is you're scanning at the field where you're seeing the images, and it does appear that there is something that what you're seeing on the other side of those conditions is real. You scan it, and it's just switching over to the Mars-like planet, and indeed, very thin atmosphere. The soil. This is a Class K planet. Your hand scanner tells you. Low atmosphere. You would definitely need breathing gear to even get there, and you probably would not survive long without some sort of EV suit. And then when it shifts again to the jungle world, very definitely Class M, kind of perfect, nitrogen, oxygen, trace amounts of argon atmosphere, suitable for most forms of humanoid life, an abundant number of small and medium life signs, as you'd expect to find in the jungle. So these do appear to be actual places.
I still got a hologram, Commander. Looks like we found some form of artificial wormhole.
Okay, that's incredible.
Is there any sign the Vulcans were here?
Give me an insight security difficulty 1. And that might be something Gade might be good to do.
Probably she has a 14 in it.
Yeah, I'm not saying it.
Observation or investigation as a focus.
Definitely.
You said difficulty was 1.
Yep.
I'll use a momentum just to get a third dice since we have 6.
Okay. You get the momentum back and
And
3
then
more.
some.
Excellent.
So make a note that she's activated. So yeah, pretty quickly you're kind of searching around and just there's my pinger. Under this table console there, you see a hand scanner recording device. It's definitely Vulcan manufacturer, but it's not like your standard, Vulcan space service. So it looks a little bit more advanced than that. You also notice on this side and kind of behind of the ring, there appears to be some equipment that doesn't look like it belongs with the technological level of this place.
All right, so she will reach with her foot under the console or whatever and kick the scanning device into the middle, and she will say, "That appears to be Vulcan, sir."
Ah. Yeah, I'm gonna do a quick scan. Does the Vulcan distress signal change as the wormhole changes location, perchance?
This is. Are you scanning this device or just making a larger scan in general?
Device.
This device is not emitting the distress call.
Okay.
Your scanner does recognize it as a type of recording and scanning device commonly used by Vulcan scientists, particularly in dealing with physical objects like archaeologists and anthropologists would use, or xenopologists, I suppose.
That's some good news. All right. Marvelous science or not, we still have some crew to find.
Gade, behind the portal, you kind of peek around the side. By the way, there's a good 3 feet of space between the back of the portal and the actual wall. From here, the portal appears to be completely just an empty big ring. You can clearly see Commander Morox and the rest of the room through it. But back here, there are 3 thermal units of the kind used by outdoors people, warmer-blooded people that are on colder worlds, such as this one, that appear to have been wired directly into the gate. From what you can tell, there's no sort of status lights or indicator lights or anything. They look completely drained of power.
Do I think that they were used to power the gate to get it started?
Give me insight engineering difficulty 2.
Observation, perhaps?
Not so much. If you've got more of an engineering EPS kind of thing, maybe.
Nope.
Would it be smarter if I did this one? As the engineer.
Up to you guys.
That would be up to the GM because I'm the one looking at it.
Sure. I'm sort of looking around as well, but yeah. GM,
Right,
if I could.
Gage,
make
But
my
I
choice.
could always show you the hookups, I suppose.
You guys tell me.
Yeah, I'll draw their attention to the cave to the.
So Erickson, I'm not going to require a roll from you.
Sure.
This is some pretty clever kludge work of mating two different systems. I mean, different types of interface and everything. Whoever did this was a very skillful engineer. And yeah, it's pretty obvious that these thermal units were used to power the annulus here, but you don't think uh, even if they were at full power, they wouldn't have provided much time at all. Just from your quick and dirty estimation of how much power this thing probably is drawing.
Yeah, it looks like they used these to kickstart it, but it's probably drawing its main power from somewhere else.
Probably the
Clever
main
bit of
reactor
jury
casting.
rigging, but it's probably from our friends who are now no longer here.
And while you're talking, the images continue to cycle through as I've described and in that continued order.
Yeah, I'm gonna get the communicator out. Lieutenant Merrick, how's my Chelsea Aurora coming along?
Still attempting to contact the ship.
You may need to hurry. I'm not quite sure what's going on up there.
Merrick, from what you can tell, while the outposts communication systems are heavily damaged, they can probably go to a Lagrange point, but not any further, just because of the damage they've taken. But from what you can tell, the problem is on the end of the ship. Transmitting is fine, but they're either not receiving or not answering. And from here, you can't tell which it is. But as far as you can tell, transmissions are fine. So the problem is on the receiving end.
I'll continue to try my best, Commander, but I'm beginning to think it's not on our end. I mean, all transmissions are going out.
So, which seems like a good point to switch back to the. Oops, I'm moving that whole thing to the bridge of the Aurora. So, on the bridge of the Aurora, Ensign Daly has just informed Captain Vogel that the sudden uncontrolled burst from the impulse and thrusters has placed the ship into a decaying orbit. Kanan puts the headset to her ears. Captain, I'm getting reports of malfunctions and false sensor readings all across the ship, and apparently the food synthesizers are dispensing some sort of industrial lubricant.
Do we still have communication with engineering?
Internal communications seem to be working fine.
Bridge to engineering. I need engines now.
Okay, so Grappos was activated last time. Mars has not been activated yet. Whoever wants to take whichever one. Be aware that with Gade on the planet, you've already activated one crew support. Although I honestly don't think I'm going to charge you for it since all the main characters are on the planet, so skip that.
So we still have 4 crew support or 3.
Yeah, I'm not going to charge you for crew support for this one
Okay.
because I want you guys to play some of these supporting characters. So the captain is calling engineering. That's either going to be Agropos or Moros. Agropos has been activated before, which means if she needs to make a roll this game, this session, you can give her talent, focus, value, attribute bump, whatever.
Oh, if I just grab a Grapples then, in that case.
Okay.
She's ready there. Alright, Captain.
I need those engines back.
So what's actually going on with the engines? Are they, is the warp core just malfunctioning with losing power? Oh. Captain, the engines are working perfectly fine.
Then check the connections to the bridge. We're not having helm control up here.
Yeah, on it. You two, get that panel open now. Let's check the connection. Oops. Alright, so if we just check the connection manifolds and see what's going on there.
Sorry, if you give me a momentum, I'll just tell you.
Oh, I got something to spend, might as well. Shabam.
All physical connections check out. There's nothing mechanically wrong or going haywire between various impulse, warp, thruster controls and helm control.
So we are theoretically going full impulse.
Well, I mean, you were in an orbit station keeping. And then suddenly there was a kind of uncontrolled few second flare of impulse and thrusters, which moved the ship down to a decaying orbit, knocked it out of its stable orbit. But now helm's not answering, and the impulse and thrusters, you're not in a stable orbit for them to maintain anymore.
All right, Captain, the connections are all fine. Looks like some sort of power surge set them into full burst for a few seconds.
I will look down to Daily. Do you have control back?
She's just tapping her console furiously. Captain, I've got no response from helm.
Engineering, override helm controls and take us out of orbit.
All right, initiating manual override. All right, I can't even move the token around. Damn it.
Oh, can you not?
Actually, wait. Let me try dragging. There we go. If I drag it, it works.
I don't know. This game is just, I'm having fits with tokens. All right, so give me control engineering difficulty 2.
2. Difficulty 2. And we may want another dice for this, just to make sure we don't all explode.
Well, you do have momentum.
Yeah. Also, would the ship be helping?
In theory, yeah, it should be helping with engines con.
All right.
I'll
So
roll for ship.
Control engineering. Pow.
Okay. The ship does not assist.
Okay.
Um, so yes, you execute perfectly what you need to do to transfer home control to this engineering panel, but nothing happens. You're not able to establish home control, although everything mechanically, physically appears to be exactly as it should.
Hand control's still not responding. It could be something wrong with the computer network.
Find it. Then did we get a hail?
No, sorry, I didn't have a meh sound for something not working.
Oh, computer negative type thing.
Right, right. So, okay, this is going to be reason, engineering, or science. With computers, engineering, or science from the ship. Difficulty 1.
Okay. Engineering. All right. Wabam.
All right. Sorry, I was answering a message there. Okay, so you gain a momentum. Let me send you something, Morax. And you very quickly determine that.
Captain, we got some form of invasive programming infiltrating the system. Yeah, infiltrating the ship's coding. Seems to be causing malfunctions.
Good work. Let's get that purged. Give me my ship back.
All right, let's install NordVPN or whatever and get this fixed.
So, okay, we're going to go into the scientific method here.
Okay.
So you guys can figure out exactly how you want to fix it. Okay, so it does not matter if your characters are physically present on the ship or not. And you can all grab a secondary character for the purpose when we get to making rolls. But everyone can participate in this. The first thing is come up with, let's say, a minimum of 3, a maximum of 5. I would call them focuses, but that gets kind of confusing. Approaches to the problem. You can name them as focuses, but that does not mean that you have to have the focus in order to take that approach. For example, you know, you might use anti-malware program as one of the possibilities way to go. Once you've given me 3 to 5 of these routes, I will tell you if one of those appears to be the right one, and then we'll go through the process of you'll choose one and start working your way there. So you can feel free to discuss and theorize and there's
Okay, here's a few ideas. All right, 1, we reboot the entire computer system to factory settings, which should clear any crap it's picked up on the planet. Or we try the antivirus option. We try and create a program which targets the corrupted data. Or even, if it's like sort of vaguely sentient, we could try and lure the program into a dummy system and then separate from the rest of the ship.
I think those are probably a good 3 to start with.
When in doubt, there's always multi-modal reflection sorting.
Well, like if we present the options and they're wrong, he gets a threat and then we present more. So we do want to keep our number of options to a minimum.
So we go with those 3 for now. That's a baseline.
All right, so we got reboot the entire computer system. We have tried to remove the invasive program, and if it's sentient,
Like lure
try
it
to
into a
lure
fake processor
right.
and just put it out.
So GM, I think those are our 3, unless anyone has any other ideas or options that they would like to pick.
When in doubt, I can always type it here. The magic.
All sound better than anything I could come up with in this situation.
The issue
One of
is
those
though,
will work. So what you do now is tell me which one of those you want to start work on. I'll tell you the attribute and department scores, and then you guys can figure out a lead. Anyone with a score of 2 or more in the relevant department can assist.
Increase the. There we go.
So you did say at least one was correct, right?
One of these will work.
I think you will try the total reboot first.
All right.
See, I'm worried about the total reboot because if that fails, we suddenly have no computer.
But it's not like it's doing anything anyway.
All right. So that will be.
Could just fall faster.
Right.
That's going to be a reason, engineering, or science. The ship being infected is not really going to be able to help because it would help with computers, engineering, or science, but your computers are not exactly the most reliable right now. But like I said, anybody with a 2 or more in either engineering or science among the supporting characters on the ship can assist. That includes the captain and all that.
The captain, hearing the potential problems, will run down the engineering to try to lend a hand, because if this fails, the ship crashes.
Nice.
And plus, I have a 2 in engineering, so there's that.
All right, so Agropus, I'm assuming, is going to be the lead on this engineering role.
Probably, and then we also have
probably, yeah.
Moro, someone can play as well.
So Agropus will lead, everybody else will assist. Again, it's either it's reason, engineering, or science.
Let's choose engineering. Alright. It's just a base task roll, isn't it, to start with?
Yeah, you can buy dice, you can do whatever you want to do. There's a certain number of successes I'm looking for.
Is there a timed interval to get this done?
No, I don't think that's necessary right here.
Okay. So basically how this works is you're going to pick whichever one you think, which I think you already did.
Yeah.
And then you're going to keep rolling toward that. And we're either going to hit the number of successes or we're not. And after each roll, you get to choose if you want to keep going in that or switch to a different one.
Yeah.
If you don't think that one's it.
We'll try without spending first. Alright, so reason engineering on the reboot computers. Pow.
Okay. And who whoever's going to assist.
Can the captain get a focus in team dynamic?
Yeah, I'll allow it.
Oh, just missed.
Missed it by that much.
Someone want to roll for Maro? And we could bring some of the science people in here too.
You've got a fully fleshed out NPC science officer. If somebody wants to grab him, Robertson, I think.
Well, I'm seeing Lee and Namadi.
Oh, did I not make Richardson and Daly and such available? Should be in
Oh,
your
they're
journals.
they're on the top.
Yeah,
Richardson
they're
just is not in the
Yeah, they're the.
science area.
I've separated out the fully fleshed NPCs.
So everyone that didn't roll, feel free to pick somebody.
I'll grab Richardson.
All right. So yeah, Richardson can assist with reason, engineering, or science. And Morrow can assist the same way. Okay. That's 3 successes.
And I figure everyone can grab a support character to roll for.
All right. 4 successes. Yes, that will work. Instant Agrapos, I'm sending you what you guys have figured out.
All right. So for test, I probably just grabbed a quick piece of like a tricord or something that was infected, then rebooted that, so that proves it works.
Right.
That's Captain. Seems I've managed to get rid of the invasive program, but we got to deactivate the entire computer network. We'll lose engines and main power until we can reboot the system.
How long do you think that'll take?
Let's see, how much do I want these intervals to be?
A full reboot will take approximately 30 minutes, Captain.
What is the time until impact with the planet?
Around 31 to 40.
It's cutting it a bit close, but I don't think we have any other options. Let's do it.
Okie dokie. So this is going to be an extended task. Difficulty 4. Magnitude 4. Work 23. Resistance 1. With a maximum of 12 intervals, where each task roll will take 2 intervals. This is going to be reason engineering, and it will be unassisted by the ship because obviously you're shutting down the ship. You can, I will allow up to 2 player assists.
Do we have it?
And
Do we have
remember,
any?
you can give, since this is Agrapos' second activation, you can give her a value, so she can have a determination spend. You can give her a talent. You can give her a focus. You can up a attribute or a department.
Well, I think if we're looking for talents, I think the most timely one would be in the nick of time.
You can definitely go into her sheet and add it.
Okay.
Just go onto the back part of the sheet, and you'll see in the notes her first activation is noted. Note that she was activated today again, and what you give her.
Cool.
Is somebody playing Moros?
I have him, but I noted his first activation, so which
Okay.
was today.
Cool.
Do yeah, effects equal. Don't work. There we go. All right. So reason engineering. Nick of time. All right.
So does the engineer have a? Well, I think they also could use a mission directive, probably. All right. So
all right. Well, I don't know how that works for supporting characters. Do they actually have a determination to spend without a value?
I could give them one. I could give any player my.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true.
That's a good one. Yep.
So I'm gonna, since I can clearly communicate with the ensign here, and I guess this would fit the criteria of me giving them a direct order. I'm gonna spend my determination to give her a point of determination.
Okay. I'm spending a
And-
couple of determination to increase the complication range by 1 up to complication range 2 for this first one. This ship's really not designed to do this while it's actually in space.
Yeah.
And
Right.
it kind of has safeguards you've got to try and get through when it comes to shutting down
Yeah. We've got to go to the computer core and open up all the security panels and stuff.
Mhm.
All right. So we'll spend that determination for the natural 20, I think. Or 20.
Okay.
You know what I mean.
Right.
Yeah.
The
Successes.
success.
Yeah. And I think we ought to spend 1 momentum, so I've got 3 dice.
So it'd be 2 momentum for that second dice.
Okay. Never mind. I prefer to ration it out.
Because you could spend 1 momentum, and give them 1 threat if you want that second dice. It is a difficulty 4, and I
Yeah,
think the more
we
momentum
need
we can
it.
get off the back of it would be good for.
Yeah. All right. So 1 momentum, 1 threat. And that's 3 dice. Completion range 2.
Nice.
Plus the 2 from the determination spend.
So that's 5.
Alright. So 5 total.
I think we
one
get some
momentum gain.
assist, right? I
Right,
think you
so
said
far
2
it's 1
assist.
momentum.
Yep.
It's probably not going to be the captain. He is not an engineer.
All right.
That's for Moros.
Okay, so 2 momentum up.
6.
And then probably Richardson.
Same roll.
Reason, engineering, or science.
Ouch.
Okay, you've got 2 momentum gain. There is a complication on the board.
Think we'll just use the 2 gain to squash it.
Yeah, how many? Yeah, because I've got to have a crap ton of work anyway.
Right.
Got your 4 complications.
All right, so roll a number of challenge dice equal to 2 plus your plus Agropos' engineering, so 6.
6. Poof. And because of nick of time, my FX counters work.
Okay, so 2,
Nice.
4, 6.
So
I'm
that's-
counting 7. So that is a breakthrough.
Think we should hang on to the momentum and then just go to the next one.
Yeah.
we could
just-
always spend 1 momentum to decrease the intervals, but I don't think we're there.
I think we're good for a bit. Yeah, we'll keep that for the dice.
All right. It's 23 minus 7, somebody.
16.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're down to difficulty 3, magnitude 3, work 16, resistance still 1. And tell us what you did there, Ensign Agropos.
Well, first of all, we had to disable all the manual safeguards, override all the overwrite protections, and pull out the main. Well, expose the panels of the main data processors in them. Now we're about to open them up and get them wiped.
All right. Make your roll.
Right, I think we will spend the momentum for the 3rd dice this time.
All right.
So that's 1 for the 1st dice, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. Right. And is there still 2 for complication range?
No.
Okay, back down. And wabam.
Oh, no.
Don't think.
They-
Do you have? I don't think there's any assist with that when the primary fails.
No, there is not.
Let's see. So what went wrong?
Ooh. Well, clearly, while attempting to remove the data processors, the invasive program called the dataset caused a power surge in the computer section, which caused a small fire, which lost time.
All right. So still at difficulty 3, magnitude 3, work 16, resistance 1. You are down to 8 intervals left, which is the equivalent of 4 rolls.
I think we got this, though. I think we're still good.
Alright, let's spend that momentum again for the extra dice. We're gonna need it. Alright. Fingers crossed, everyone. Aye.
Right.
Yeah,
So
well,
you
we
get the
got 2
assist,
yeah, we got 2 assists coming.
There's 2.
There we go.
All right.
Just about.
All right. So roll 6 challenge dice.
Nice. Come on. That says 4.
3 work right now.
So probably
is
use
the,
one of the
X.
momentum to reroll. Oh
That's
yeah,
right.
we. So
yeah,
it's
I think
4.
we'll do that to re-roll the 3 duds. It's selective fun, isn't it?
Yeah, you just roll 3 challenge
Yeah.
dice for the.
Right.
Unless there's any reason you wanted to roll
Wow.
the other ones, but
There
I
we
think
go.
Yep, that's good.
So yeah,
Yes.
you'll
So I
see
think
at
that's 8.
5.
8 work. So that's definitely another breakthrough. Brings the difficulty down to 2, the magnitude down to 2, the work down to 8, still resistance 1, and you've got 6 intervals left. Except as you're shutting down the engines, there's suddenly a micro pulse from the impulse engines, which increases the angle of descent towards the planet, increasing the rapidity of your descent into the gravity well, and bringing you down to 4 intervals. 2 rolls.
All right. I think we might want to consider maybe some threat here. Try to bank up
We're
some.
gonna have to, really.
Yeah, try to bank up some more momentum.
Yeah.
How do we let the ship crash?
Yeah, not a fan of that. Alright.
If we had engines, I would say let's just land the damn thing.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to go with free threat here to go up to the 4 dice.
How much threat are you giving me?
It's free, isn't it, for 2 extra dice, is it?
Yep.
Trois. Alright. Here's to not die horribly. Engage. Oh, come on!
Yikes.
There you go. Morrow's with the save. All right, so it looks like
Right,
you
so
guys are
get
gaining
2 out of
2
that.
momentum.
All right, 1 good challenge dice roll, and we might be able to get this.
Well, clearly she burnt her hand in electrical fire back there. So it's having problems putting all the reinstalling hard drives back in. Right. Challenge roll. Away. That's
So
a
right now we're
4.
at 7.
7. So 1 work left.
We still got that resistance.
Right, so 6. So 2 work left. You've got 3 momentum on the board.
Let's see. You could spend it to wait, how much we got, sorry?
3.
3
If
momentum.
you spent 3 momentum, you will complete the work track plus 1. For extra work, you'll complete the work track plus 1, which will give you 2 breakthroughs and complete the task.
Technically, the
we-
odds are better to reroll 2.
Your choice.
It's 2 momentum. Is it 1 momentum to re-roll them?
Yep.
Alright. Sod it. Let's. Alright, let's risk it. Let's re-roll the 2.
Come on, 2 effects. Yes.
Yes.
All right. So yes, despite the fact that that your team was working in the dark after all the power was down, with just hand lamps for illumination, the entire ship went silent, and then a few very nervous seconds passed, and everything came back online. Everything seems to be functioning normally. Captain Vogel, you get there's a kind of an all call. Daily to Captain Vogel, I have helm control.
Get us out of orbit.
All right, so who wants to make a roll for Lieutenant Daly? This is
Sure, I'll
going
give
to
it a go.
Oh, and GM, I forgot I had veteran, so can I roll?
Sure, yeah, roll your challenge die.
Ooh.
Oh well, next time maybe. So yeah, somebody roll incidentally daring con, difficulty of 2, complication range of 2. You're kind of you're scraping the upper atmosphere here. And she is fully statted out NPC, so be sure and check over her talents and whatnot.
Yeah, I was going to say. Efficient evasion, glance the impact, push the limits. I don't think any of those apply here.
Okay.
Think push the limits might.
Environmental conditions or damaged engines? Technically, they're not damaged.
Definitely environmental conditions, because those are what I spent the threat for, because you're scraping the atmosphere. So yeah, I'll let you kick that in.
Environmental
we
conditions
keep
of
that in-
crashing into a planet.
So
I
So
was
that
gonna
reduces
say,
it to 1.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then she does have bold cons, so you could probably give him a threat, and we get a third dice and a reroll. GS.
Sure, should we do that? We've already given him enough, but let's give him one more.
Sounds good.
And would helm operations as their focus come into point here?
Oh yes.
I was going to say, I think that's what they're up to. Right, let's see what we get.
Well done. So that's 2 momentum gained.
There we are.
And the
Oh, I
thrusters
guess we didn't give you the threat.
Oh, he didn't roll it.
Yeah.
Oh, my apologies. I just remember I'm still learning this sheet.
Oh, you're fine. Do you want just
Sorry.
you want me to just get rid of the threat, or do you want to roll a third die?
We said we are going to use it, so I'll roll a
Alright.
third die. Didn't do anything.
Okay.
Yeah, and I don't think we need to reroll that. So
So
get it.
yes, leaving a short comet-like trail of fire as the secondary hull scrapes the ionosphere, with the impulse engines at full burst and all thrusters firing, the Aurora lifts out of the atmosphere and back into a stable and standard orbit.
good work, everybody. And I will head back up to the bridge.
All right.
Yeah, the ensign will probably have to go to sick bay for a burnt hand.
It's fine. I left capable people on the ship.
All
is what-
right.
Chief Engineer will be looking over the work he gets.
Yes, and Captain, you on your way up, while you see various crews cleaning up some messes and replacing panels and computer chips and whatnot, everything functions smoothly. You see no signs of more malfunctions. Lieutenant Richardson accompanies you back up to the bridge.
All right. So I will have Richardson give me a full damage report. I have Kanan try to raise the await, and Ellison I'll have start going over the system. Or no, I'll have Ellison give me the damage report. I'll have Richardson start going over the system to see for a potential.
Okay. So on the planet, Commander Morox, your communicator bleeps.
This is Morox.
This is the Aurora. Everything okay down there, Commander?
Oh, Captain, we're trying to reach you for some time now.
It appears we picked up a computer virus. Almost caused the ship to crash into the planet.
Almost. So, back in orbit then.
I've taken us out of orbit just so we can try to figure out what happened. So in case it happens again, we're not in a dangerous situation.
All right. Well, shuttle pod took some damage on the way down. Everyone's all right, but we found a alien structure. Still looking for the Vulcans, but also located some form of artificial wormhole here.
An artificial wormhole.
Yes, it looks like this place could be some form of transit station for it. Although the reactor for this installation is unstable, set to detonate in about 12 hours.
Well, if you feel the situation is safe to continue, Commander, we still got to locate those Vulcans.
Yes, we're trying to search this place through. We've just got main power back on.
and try to learn as much as you can about that wormhole. I'm sure the boys at command will love that.
We'll see what we can do once we find the Vulcans up.
Very good. Aurora out.
So with that, we'll go back down to the planet's surface. All right. So Morox, Erickson, and Gade are in the doorway room. There's a device in the middle of the floor of Vulcan manufacture. Merrick and the doctor are in the facility's control room.
All right, Vulcans first, miracle science later. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm sure.
All right,
let's
what
check.
you doing?
Let's check this. Let's check every nook and cranny first.
All righty. Reveal area. This looks to be a duplicate of the room to the south, only the rear wall and part of the ceiling has collapsed on top of the portal, wrecking it.
Perhaps we could salvage some of it for study.
Yeah, I doubt the Vulcans went this way then.
All right, let's see what the elevator shaft is doing.
More debris?
As you recall from the tremor earlier, you heard a bunch of crashing and whatever, and it appears that, again, part of the walls and structure have collapsed here. The lift, which was on this level, has been wrenched sideways and kind of jammed into its shaft. However, right here, you see a pretty standard emergency transmitter that has been wired up to and into communications cables that run in a panel up through this segment of the building. The shaft, you can tell, goes all the way kind of up towards the top part of the building. Commander Erickson, you would guess that the Vulcans wired this in to take advantage of the basically taking advantage of the existing antenna structure to boost the signal.
Right, so if we still had the lift, we'd be able to find out how they, find their transmitter. Find
the transmitter's right here.
Communicate. Oh.
It's right there. It's wired into fundamentally the communications array / antennas of this tower.
Right, that's what I was trying to say. Yeah. Yeah, so the transmitter's here at least, but we've been able to reestablish contact, so quite as useful. Still, at least we know the Vulcans were in here, but hopefully not. It doesn't look like they were in this shaft. Then is this the bottom of the shaft, as far as I can tell, or is this halfway up?
Well, the bottom's the main reactor.
Yeah, this is my concern. Is that
if they couldn't get main power on, perhaps they were trying to do it from the main reactor.
Potentially, which means we'd have to try and get down there somehow, and this all looks like going to take a long time to move or to do anything with. I wouldn't even trust the lift in this condition.
Let's reuse the internal cables. right. Lieutenant Merrick, is there any chance this place has internal communications?
Give me a moment, Commander. GM using the computer console. Is there anything forms of internal communications?
There does seem to be a public address system that is off, and what looks like a secondary what's it called, intercom system does not appear to be the primary way that these people would communicate one to the other, but it's kind of like an emergency intercom system.
Okay. And when I tapped in internal sensors, remind me again, there was no other life forms besides us that was detected.
Correct.
Right? Yeah.
That was the 5 of you in that one room at the time. No other life forms at any point in the facility, including the power room.
Commander, I can send a general broadcast throughout the entire facility, but internal sensors show that it's only us on board. Are we sure they're even still here?
Hardly have gone far.
Well, it was that portal. If they've gone somewhere else, they might not even be in the facility anymore. We were here a while, I remember.
It's never easy.
I really don't want to go through that
M-class.
portal, sir. I'll say that now.
M-class. This way, Commander. M-class planet. Now, choice between freezing to death in an alien world. What would you pick? All right.
M-class planet, sir.
All right. Let's get the communicator up and see if we can broadcast through this thing.
So what are you trying to do?
I'm gonna try and broadcast with the communicator through the wormhole.
Okay, to just keep doing it while it cycles, or are you waiting for any particular?
It will try when it cycles, except for the for the ship, of course.
Okay. Keep in mind that it's cycling at a rate of a destination, if you will, every 20 seconds. So you won't have too long. So go ahead and tell me what you're broadcasting.
Yeah, it's gonna be quick. I'm gonna loop it, and it's gonna be attention, Vulcan science team. This is rescue from the Aurora. We have entered the main control center, and we are. If you can hear this, acknowledge transmission. Send transmission every 20 seconds.
Okay.
Have a look at this. Yeah.
Depends on
Basically
how
that.
long it cycles around, but basically
Well, yeah.
every cycle.
Yeah. So you're standing there as it cycles. There we go. So it cycles through, and then it comes around to the jungle planet again, and you hear it cuts in suddenly. Mech, please respond. Again, this is Engineer Somek of the Vulcan Science Academy. Please respond.
That's promising.
Engineer, this is Commander. Yeah, it's Commander Morox of the Aurora. Do you read me?
And it cycles through and comes back around. Aurora, yes, we read you.
Yes. Are you able to make it to the wormhole aperture?
Cycles through again. Negative. We have sick and injured. Need. And then it cycles through again.
Do they have any way of identifying what planet they're on?
Power supply for annulus on this side. Repeat. Need power supply for the annulus on this side.
Annulus. Is that the name of the ship they were on?
I think Annulus is the device they might have gone through.
Yeah, it basically just means ring. But Vulcans are very formal, and they have good vocabularies.
I'm getting Stargate flashbacks. I apologize. Okay.
Alright.
So they need.
Oh yeah, there's nothing Stargate about this at all.
No, not at all. Nothing
Jafar
similar
Cree.
at all. God, I'm gonna get sued.
It's
Okay.
like they're big words.
Again, it's a very Vulcan thing to say. Okay, we need to rig up some sort of portable power supply for them then.
Alright, we're with you soon. Maintain your present position. Alright. Borgs to Aurora. We appear to have located the Vulcan away team.
That's good news. When do you want me to send down the other shuttle pod to pick them?
As soon as possible, preferably. Unfortunate, we also need a team to begin analysing this facility before it's destroyed. The
Well-
problem is, the away team is on the other side of the artificial wormhole.
I'd be cautious sending another shuttle pod down here. I was going to say we had enough trouble getting one.
It's true, but is our pod flight worthy?
I fixed it up before it came over.
Alright. Glad to do.
How many are meant to be as part of this expedition? 20 or something?
It was a Vulcan science team of 12, I believe, and a crew of 8 on the ship.
So if the crew survived, that's 20 people total.
Yeah, we'll need another shuttle. Is there any way you could sort of
Actually-
screen out?
Excuse me, Commander.
Yes.
Sorry, sorry, I interrupt the commander, but then address the games master. Is the portal still cycling back to the Aurora?
Yes.
I think we've got a way off for the entire Vulcan science crew, sir. At which point I point towards the Annulus circle thing.
Stand by, Captain. I'm gonna pick up a loose bit of debris, and I'm gonna try and chuck it through when it reaches the bridge.
Beans the captain on the back of the head.
Okay. So it cycles through, and you chuck a rock through, and you see it kind of land and bounce kind of on the walkway behind the captain's chair, and you see Vogel kind of startle and turn to look behind him at this rock. Yeah, Vogel, you're sitting on the bridge, and this rock comes bouncing from apparently the short corridor to your ready room across the deck behind you.
I'll visibly sigh and say, "What is it now?"
Artificial wormhole, Captain. Appears to have also logged onto the ship. We may be able to use it to get the crew back.
I see where you're going with this. Do you know if the entire science team is accounted for? The entire Vulcan team is accounted.
Not yet, but we haven't seen any evidence they could be anywhere else.
I'm gonna begin more detailed scans of the planet. If the same thing happened to the Vulcan ship that happened to ours, I think I might be able to locate their vessel.
Yes, and didn't you grab a power source, Commander?
Well, I can try and rig something up with what we've got, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Might have to use parts from the ship.
That's a point. Captain? Wait, no. I wonder. What if we try throwing the rock back in the direction it came? I doubt it's two-way, but it's worth a try.
Okay, just tell me when.
Now?
And I'll throw it as hard as I can through the thing.
I think we were waiting for it to line it back up with the portal with the ship.
Oh yeah.
Was it lined up, or has he just chucked a rock at his own door?
Yeah. So
Well,
I think
no,
we
it
reached
was
Central
lined up.
Poland.
It was lined up when you said now. So, Captain, give me a fitness security difficulty 1, just for fun.
It's gonna be the face, isn't it?
Yeah. So you just haul back and fastball that thing right into the door of your ready room, scratching the paint, and it kind of shatters into 3 smaller rocks. You guys see the captain hurling the rock, and it's, from your perspective, it's kind of like a TV show or a film where something goes right by the camera and he kind of flies out of frame. Looks like that.
Alright, so one way.
That was dramatic.
Right, come on, you have to rig up what you have here.
Yes, sir.
Well, I suppose 2 miracles of science would be too much to ask, wouldn't it?
Two-way wormhole, sir. Just clearly asking too much.
Well, 2-way wormhole with an aperture on the other side.
That is a point. Do we know if there is an aperture with the Vulcan?
I believe it's what they needed a power source for.
I hope that's what they're talking about.
Well, if they're wrong, then we could be in for an early vacation.
Yes, sir. Okay, so I'm gonna go and see about rigging up a portable power source.
That shouldn't be a problem. You can actually have one beamed down to you if you want.
I mean, I used one to open the doors to this facility. Would that be sufficient, or is that too small?
You would think you're probably going to need something a little bit heavier. For 2 momentum, I'll give you the advantage of having like a power pack, a portable power pack in the shuttle. They're not this is something that Star Trek has and has used before. So
Sure. I'd be willing to spend it if you guys are okay with it.
We got 5.
Yep.
Sure, let's spend that momentum. Okay, so I'll hike back out across the cold and go and grab
Right.
power.
not a problem. It's about the size of a half-filled hiking backpack, and it comes with straps to be carried like a backpack, and it also includes a variety of cables and connector types, because it's assumed that you're probably using these things to, potentially activate and power up non-standard, non-Earth or Federation devices, items.
So a universal USB cable.
More or less, yeah.
Sorry, just to be flippant. Okay, so I'll grab that and bring that back, and if anyone's doing anything else, they have the time to do that now.
Yeah, well, I brought the rest of you guys to look at the wormhole room. See what you think about it.
So, Dr. Merrick, were you guys doing anything while these people were throwing rocks at each other?
Sounds very primitive.
I was just standing there making sure if anything happened that they weren't alone. What's my whole process on that?
No, fair enough.
She would be simply kind of going through the system looking to see if there's anything she could kind of learn.
Seeing if there was what?
Anything to learn more about the outpost.
Sure, and give me a reason science difficulty 2.
Xenolinguistics.
Yeah.
I don't want to spend our momentum, so take a threat.
Okie dokie.
Should remember to flip the
Let
thing back.
me type you something.
It's 3 momentum gained.
Nice. Bear with me just a second. There you go.
Commander, I've been kind of digging through this computer system. This is definitely some sort of transit station of some sort. It appears that there was more than one portal, but it appears that there's only the one active. And
Yes, the other one's buried into some rubble, unfortunately.
there was several other, I guess, portals or some sort of apertures that have gone dormant. But I might be able to stabilize the portal depending on the location where the Vulcans are at from here in the control room. At least keep the portal on our end focused on that region. And
Do we know if we'll have any control over... Sorry to interrupt. Do we have any control over the portal on the other side? If there is...
I'm guessing we need it to be online before we can do that.
Yeah, I'm just concerned about getting either back here to go to the ship, or getting to the ship from there. Getting stuck's probably not great. Especially if we don't know where they are. I don't fancy spending any more time on Frontier World.
See what you can do, and copy as much information as you can. So when the commander gets back, I'm going to. I'm gonna have to go through. See what's going on over there.
Sorry, who's going through?
Well, we don't know what's going on down there, so I'm gonna pop in and
If-
visit the neighbors.
Are you
If the
taking-
commander's going to the planet, then I'm going with him because I'm assuming he would have informed me about wounded or what that was over there.
Well, yeah.
So I'm going with him.
Okay.
I'm going to have to go anyway to set up the portal. Should we not leave the commander? Should you not stay here to make sure if it doesn't all go wrong, you don't lose contact with the ship? There's already 2 of us going through. At this rate, there's going to be no one left in this facility.
All right, but let me know the minute you're through.
Yes, sir.
All right. So, who is stepping through?
For some godforsaken reason, Erickson.
Agents are in
and
need. I
Harrison.
have to go.
Okay, so Erickson and the doctor.
Yes.
Okay.
I
So
I guess Gaddy will go too.
okay.
Sure.
You know,
Good
if
idea
they
to have
got
someone with a gun.
yeah, that, and if they have wounded, you know, you're gonna need more hands to help carry people.
Very right.
Okay. So we're going to go to scene 2. So you go down in momentum, and we're going to transition to map.
Wow, all of that was scene 1.
Indeed.
I'm not real swift with scenes yet. It'll be all right. Turn off the grid here. Yeah, I'm still figuring out some of the nuts and bolts of STA. So,
Where'd you get this art from?
Good map pack. I think I've
Yep.
got it myself.
so if you guys want to drag your tokens, since when I do it doesn't seem to do right,
This isn't like you. That's what it is.
put them all about here in the upper. I don't know if you can see where I'm pinging.
Yeah, I think it locks movement permission to who generated the token or something like that.
I don't know why it doesn't do that normally.
Yeah,
Well,
you may
you
need to
got-
go and tweak it or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with it. I've tried everything I can figure out to try, and
Have you tried setting the token in the character sheet? Because you can drag out the token, mess with settings, then set the token.
yeah, as the default token.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I've
before
done
that,
for everybody.
yeah, but before that, you've made sure you've set all the settings on the token to be exactly what we need.
Okay, I'll go back and fiddle with it, and we'll see how it works
Yeah,
next week.
I was gonna
But
say,
for now,
it's technical stuff.
For
So-
now, we have a thing that works.
yep. So back in here, there is a small stone room, or this is kind of an antechamber. There is a metal door similar to the ones in the outpost you just came from that appears to be manually opened, and in that is another portal room very similar to the one you stepped through. Only from your perspective, it appears like there's this ring-like structure there, just like the one you stepped through on the other side, but behind it's just a blank steel wall. There's no power to it, but otherwise it's pretty much just like the room you came from. But there is no portal open. It's just the ring deactivated.
Okay, well that's not great. What's the temperature?
Do we
like?
see the Vulcans nearby? Is my first question.
No, but
Should be able to hail them since we're on this side of the portal.
Fingers crossed they communicate.
so yeah, your communicator bleeps.
This is Lieutenant Commander Harrison. Go ahead.
This is Dr. Terrell of the Vulcan Science Academy. The sensors we left behind indicate that you have stepped through the portal. Did you bring a power supply?
This is Engineer Erickson from the USS Aurora. Yes, we've brought a power supply which we're ready to hook up to the device.
Excellent. myself and engineer Somek are on our way to you. We have been encamped in a cave system a few miles from the portal site in order to prevent interference with the indigenous population. Please be aware that there is a Stone Age population on this world.
Okay.
Also, there is occasionally this world is occasionally visited by more technologically advanced species who seem to use it for entertainment.
I share a look at my comrades and go, what does that mean?
I will be with you shortly. I
For the-
recommend using minimal comms.
Understood. We'll be here.
Follow your lead on this.
Yeah, this feels a bit like home. Oh, well, not with the Stone Age people, but with the...
Technologically
Crazy.
advanced, it could be any number of species in this area. We don't exactly know how far we've come.
No. But,
Well, we know it could
let's
just be
say-
the Klingons using this as a hunting ground.
I hope
yes.
not.
Or it could be far worse, and we could be looking at Romulans in the area.
The
You see, you're just not making me feel any better.
so the
Job is to
environment
make sure that you can stand, not to make you feel better.
the environment is very hot, very humid. Definitely a kind of rainforest. You can kind of this clearing area where these ruins are. You can tell this is almost a classic multi-tier rainforest. Appears to be summer.
This reminds me of the rainforest I did some of my excursion training on.
This reminds me of home, unfortunately.
Much care for my training in that forest.
It's fun.
Too many snakes for my liking.
I'm gonna start looking into getting this power source hooked up. I'd ask that you keep an eye on my back for, snakes, lizards, horrible spider things, anything that's probably gonna try and kill me.
I just imagine as you say that, a spider just walks by. Is this the size of a small dog?
Did you know that the rainforest kills 700 people a year? Say no to the rainforest.
Weird. Yeah, just look around at the weird ad that we get, like going straight back to just pretending that hopefully I'm not going to be killed. So, yeah, I'm going to start fiddling with the power source and the aperture. So I'll let anyone else do what they need to do.
All right. So let's see. You saw how the Vulcans kind of rigged
Yeah.
something similar. So you kind of have a little bit of a head start there. So this is not going to be an extended task.
Thank God.
But there is it is a little bit complex because you are mating your power source and systems to a several magnitudes more advanced system. So it's going to be a control engineering difficulty 3, complication 2.
Okay then. I've got a focus in reverse engineering. Would that count here, or is that a little bit too abstract?
Sure, I'll accept that.
Yeah, I was going to say, sort of trying to basically backwards engineer something far more complex into working with our stuff.
Right.
I don't think anything else will apply. Task-wise. No. Okay. I do have bold engineering. I'm not sure if that would work in this instance. I don't think it fits.
Yeah, if you want to give me a threat, you can use
Yeah,
bold
that
engineering.
that actually comes in pretty handy. I used
Sure.
it when I was in a one-shot, or not a one-shot,
Yeah.
filler.
Sure. Okay, so I'll add a d20 with some threat, and then I'll get to re-roll if needed.
Okay.
Okay. I think I've set this up correctly, so let's, fingers crossed, give it a roll.
All right, so you gain 2
Not bad.
momentum, so you've got 1 floating.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, would I be able to use the one floating to gain a bit more information about how to use this technology? So understanding a little bit more better on how it works, even without the translation expertise of our colleague.
Are you going ahead and powering it up?
Probably figure out how it's wired, but that's probably about it.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I'm not powering it up yet. No, I'm basically hooking everything up, but I'm waiting until we actually have contact with the Vulcans because they mentioned technologically advanced species, and I don't want to like turn on a big EM source.
We should also probably wait. We don't know how long our battery pack is going to actually last for it, so
yeah. So I'm gonna hold
better
off.
power it on once we get the Vulcans here.
Yeah, I've hooked everything up, but I'm not powering.
All right. So yeah, without powering on, you know, it's kind of the same layout as the other room. There is a control console in here. The annulus, the ring thing, and pretty much that's it. Anybody else doing anything while you wait?
I can't do anything until I know where the Vulcans are.
And she's just standing by this stairwell, kind of standing guard, making sure nothing approaches.
We'll all stand around uneasily.
All right.
Just sat on a rock waiting.
Gades, give me, or Gades, however we're pronouncing your name, give me a, what's like a notice roll, a perception roll, insight security?
I think that's what I use most of the time.
Yeah. So yeah, give me an insight security difficulty 2.
Observation for a focus.
Yep.
Since we have all this momentum, I'll go ahead and spend one.
Okay, you had 1 floating, so you still got 6.
Oh, dear God.
Oh, good Lord. Okay, so got 1 floating. Yeah, you hear movement. Sounds like humanoids coming from this direction.
I will draw out my pistol and look in that, and then, you know, let the other members know. So I hear something that way.
All right.
Oh, great.
And you see coming. They're not running, but they're moving at a good pace. A female and male Vulcan.
I will lower my pistol and say, "Looks like the Vulcan."
That's good. That's very good.
The Vulcans zoom back in. The Vulcans read you. I'm Dr. Terrell, and this is Engineer Somek of the Vulcan Science Academy. We are relieved to see you.
I'm Commander Erickson, Lieutenant Commander Erickson. This is Lieutenant Commander Harrison. We are serving officers on the USS Aurora. We have been sent by Starfleet to come and get you home. I believe you said you had injured, wounded, sick.
Yes. Our
I
expedition.
think it's trusting that I get to them. Sorry.
What?
That I get to them as soon as possible to make sure that they are stable and able to be moved to this position so that we can get the power back onto the gate and get everybody home.
Yes, Dr. Satek is suffering from lung lock fever while Dr. Tassal broke her leg shortly after we arrived here, a compound fracture. We were able to rudely set it and splint it, but she's unable to walk.
Looks like we're gonna have to give yourselves a hand. How many did you end up leaving? End up escaping?
There were 4 of us on the planet when the Tenor. Yes, 4 of us on the planet when the Tenor apparently exploded. We could not restore power to the outpost, and our thermal units were only going to give us a maximum of 13.6 days, standard days, before we would be subject to terminal hypothermia. We determined that it was better to risk draining the thermal unit's power to power up the transportation portal and try to make an escape to elsewhere. Fortunately, there was this single M-class planet available. We have been here ever since. This planet is inhabited by a Stone Age culture similar to the Yanomami tribe from Earth's history, who are the Amazonian tribe. However, there is another sentient species. When we first arrived here, they appeared to be hunting the indigenes for sport, and she gets this kind of, distressed expression on her face, and food. They have recently returned.
When you say advanced alien race, do we know who they are, or is it just?
Nice. The Vulcans have run into them before. They're known as the Zenti. They're a felinoid race, highly illogical, ruled by their emotions and primitive predatory instincts.
Oh well, we'll deal with them if they do turn up. We've not powered on the portal because you did mention there were technologically advanced races here, but it's ready to go when we are ready. So, if there's only 4 of you, we can get your colleagues, and my companion can heal you up. Well, do what he can for you before we can get you back to the.
Very well. Come with us.
We
Take
follow,
you
I
to
assume.
our encampment.
Okay, we're gonna follow. Unless anyone objects, I don't think.
Oh, I've got patients to see, so I have to go.
Okay, fair enough. So we will transition over here. And I'm doing the upper left of the map. Huge Vulcan.
One bad episode of the animated
Yeah,
series.
there's a series not to say that. Giant Spock.
Yeah, right. I forgot about that one. All right. Select those 2. So they're moving pretty rapidly through these jungle paths. All right. Everybody give me an insight security difficulty 2.
I'll go ahead and go first because I probably have the best security here. And I'll spend a momentum for 3rd dice. Observation focus.
Yep. Okay. Okay, we'll do the Vulcans. It's the Vulcans. Okay. So, Gades, you hear something and spin with your phaser up just as leaping from the forest canopy are three huge felinoid creatures. Each of them stands a little over 8 feet tall. They're slightly hunched, though, while they are very similar to, in appearance, to Earth tigers. Facial-wise, they do have longer, narrower snouts. Also, their ears are, while fur-covered, are kind of like accordion kind of thing, so they lay very flat against their heads. Their tails are long but hairless. They are wearing what appears to be, they have what appear to be communicators and some sort of particle beam weapons in holsters at their sides, but they are not drawing these weapons at the time. Instead, they move to attack.
Fantastic.
So, the only person who could go first would be Gaddy's, because she matched the Zinti's rolls for her opposed insight security.
And so they're trying to like attack hand to hand, basically.
Yeah. With their dinner plate sized clawed hands.
Little do they know she is better at hand to hand than with a phaser.
Turns out she's a martial artist.
So yeah, she'll play that game. She will attempt to subdue this one in fisty.
All right. So daring security will of course be an opposed roll.
Yep, I will use a momentum for a third.
Okie dokie. And I'll see your momentum and use a third threat for a third die.
Oh no.
Yikes.
Okay. Get to the damage.
Think she is about to be clawed. Yep.
So that's 8. However, it doesn't connect with your claws. With its claws, it, fundamentally just backhands the crap out of you. And you are knocked down and take 8 stress.
I believe that is a knockout as well.
No, I don't know. What's the rule for knockouts?
Well, it's an injury, so.
Oh, right, yeah. Unless you want her to. You do have 4 momentum.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I can't avoid once. Yeah, I think she'll avoid the injury.
All right. So you got 2 momentum left. Do you wish to keep the initiative or let it pass to them? Hello.
Probably want to try and keep the initiative here.
Okay, so that will be 2 momentum.
Do we have any momentum to spend?
You do. You had 2.
Oh, I can't see it on the screen.
No momentum now. That's because we have none now.
Well, there we are.
This one is not in melee range as yet. He's kind of appears to be hanging back. He also is wearing some jewelry and appears to be a little bit more ornately garbed.
Okay. Is he?
That's the way to
So
understand this.
that one's not moving to do any damage. So, or at least it's not attacking in melee.
Watching us at the moment.
Right. Okay. So, who was it who was going next? Was it me or was it the doctor?
You guys can choose. You've got you, the doctor, and the Vulcans.
The looks of it, it's me and the ensign that are in immediate danger.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm at the back, so maybe you want to deal with it before they get a chance to do more.
Yeah. Now the question is, what do I do?
I will say I'm incredibly average at security, so
I have a 1.
I have a 2, so I'm a little bit ahead there. We do both have side arms.
Yes, we do.
To make sure we brought them down with us. So I kind of have a plan, but it would depend on what happens to you. So
If I get knocked unconscious, then you
True.
act.
Well,
Is that how it is?
If you get unconscious, we're in a lot of trouble. No, I have like I say, I have a plan that might work, but it depends. It depends on me gambling, so I'm not sure if you want to try and get yourself in a safer position first.
How much of a gamble are you taking?
Well, I'm not a xenolinguist, so a big one,
You're gonna shout at them.
probably.
Oh, by all means, go ahead. I want to see how this works. How this works for us.
Okay.
Shout at them.
I'm doing it whilst drawing my phase pistol. I don't have anything else in my hand, so it should be okay. So I want to basically draw my phase pistol, and threaten the guy with the jewelry.
We shall move to the command division book for using
to a subset of the rules.
Yep. Assuming I can find it.
Well, when in doubt, there's always the universal greeting.
I'm trying to avoid actually having to shoot someone, but like I said,
Universal greeting. You either shoot them or shoot at them.
No, don't you know? Barweek rather.
And if our security ensign was up, they'd probably agree with me.
There it is. Social tools and com. So, are you basically trying to intimidate this 8-foot-tall felinoid predator species? Which is fine. You get a roll.
I was going to say it's a thought. My concern is that I'm crap with my phase pistol, so I'm just going to.
Well, if you like, So you could use you could use presence security or presence command.
And better.
I can try with like I say, I can try with my presence command because that's slightly better than my presence security.
Slightly better is still
So-
better.
Yeah, so
Oh, GM,
So
did
try
you use the wrong stat for the soldier for melee?
The fitness security. Oh, I did use the wrong stat. Let's see. If I made
It probably doesn't matter, but because their security is so high.
we are gonna take anything we can get right now.
So let's see. It might matter.
Well, I mean, unless the daring is like a 7, I don't think it will.
No, it does not matter. Their daring is a 10 rather than 11. But
Oh well, there we are.
What in the future?
sorry, I didn't notice it. I still had it set for the previous roll. So okay,
Okay.
you're drawing your pistol and you're just like doing a battle cry. What are you doing exactly?
I'm fully aware that I don't speak whatever language these things speak, and the likelihood that the universal translator that I have in my com is calibrated to these guys is quite low, I assume. So essentially, I'm just going to yell, "Stay back!" and fire past this thing's head, because they do appear to be attacking in melee, indicating that they are more likely to fight like that.
Okay, so
So that's it's not the best plan in the world, but I'm like I say, I'm squishy and not very good at this.
right. So if you're going to try and make it back off by firing, that's going to be a control plus security roll. If you're going to try to, use the kind of social tools in combat with a kind of, back off or whatever yell, then that's going to be your presence command.
I think I'd be more likely to use control security because I have a much higher control than I have anything else. So,
Okay. So are you
yeah.
trying to hit it with your
no,
phase pistol?
I'm most specifically. I'm not trying to hit it. I'm giving a warning shot past its head, very close, but deliberately.
Okay. So
Fuck off is
roll
the-
control security difficulty 2. All right.
There we are.
You managed not to hit it.
I was
and
going to say,
you're-
I managed not to hit it in the side of the head and destroy my entire charge.
right. The bolt goes right beside its head.
Yeah, it's also angled because it's 8 feet tall. I imagine it's angled up, so it's probably not going to hit anything in the background either.
Right. So since this is kind of an attempt to intimidate, it's going to get a chance to oppose the roll. You are shooting at it. That's
Yeah,
probably going to be presence security to resist.
So it was very much. I'm not physically intimidating to this guy, so I'm going to use the weapons I do have. Damn it!
He just looks at you.
Well, I'm out of ideas, Doctor.
He's not impressed by the man thing.
Clearly.
All right. So the turn passes back to them. This one moves in to attack the doctor.
Lovely.
And it's opposed, so
That's a big ouchie.
Why are we all getting?
I don't really see myself overcoming that. What do I have to roll for it?
yeah, it's an opposed roll. It's daring security. You never know.
Okay. Daring security. My 2 worst things.
And remember, it's opposed, so if you wanted to buy more dice with threat, you certainly could.
Yeah, have your threat. Have your threat. Taking the die.
Ugh.
Joy. Medic down.
So I spend a threat to reroll 3. That is 5 stress to you. He again backhands you. That will be an injury. You can spend a determination to keep standing, which will make the next time you take an injury a lethal injury. You can give me 2 threat to avoid the injury. You'll keep the stress, but you'll still be up and able.
Could also take a complication.
Yeah,
to
personal
avoid as
complication.
well. Or you could accept the injury.
Yeah, and go down.
I don't see him going down from getting hit. He's the kind of guy who will stay standing regardless of what kind of hit he's taking.
Okay. So you gonna do it with determination? You gonna do it with threat?
Use determination for it.
Okay. So yeah, you stay standing, and then the turn shifts back to you guys.
Not looking good, by the way. He's on his feet,
No.
but there's a noticeable trickle of blood coming from where he's been hit.
Yeah, my gamble failed. Now I have to turn to more violent methods.
Right.
I think I bought myself some points with the fact that I'm still standing.
The Vulcan female fires a phase pistol.
Thank Christ they're not the pacifist ones.
God, that's a roll we could have gotten on that.
Oh, that's right. The doctor. Doctor, do you want to go?
I think we'll stick with the Vulcan's roll for now.
Okay. Sorry, that was my fault for jumping
Doctor's brain isn't doing too good at the moment. He's not thinking too clearly after that hit.
That's the Vulcan, by the way. I'm still set on Zinti Soldier. That is not right at all.
That is, yeah.
I don't know what that was.
Phase pistol is set at 3. Security. Why is it only going 2? It's not picking up the...
Try re-entering the number.
Yeah. 32 is wrong. Okay. Yeah, I am. It's just not weird. Enter. Shooty shoot shoot. Yep. It's on ranged. Just see what happens if I do this. There we go. I just created a new entry and it worked fine. Not fine, obviously, but so yeah, the Vulcan scientist shoots. You are all immediately aware that although the Zinti does not go down, she is not. Her phaser is set to lethal.
Ha! Oh wait, they have phasers, not phase pistols.
Sorry, I misspoke. Phase pistols.
I was going to
But
say,
it's
like,
set to
wait, what?
lethal.
Cool.
Sorry.
No, I wanted if that was a clue. That's fine.
On this planet for who knows how long, stun is not an option.
Stun is always an option.
They were on this planet when these things were here last. I don't think they're playing around with these things at the moment, and the logical course of action would be to kill them.
Oh, I don't disagree with you. I'm just saying.
Yeah. They're also not Starfleet, so Vulcan is sometimes an option.
So the turn passed back to them, and their leader gestures, and they, with incredibly muscular leaps, they jump away into the forest, and for a second you can hear them moving through the brush, and then nothing.
As soon as they're gone, Harrison just falls on his ass.
Yep, the Vulcans are kind of back to back with their phase pistols out.
I move over towards Gant and just see whether or not are they conscious or unconscious at the moment.
Who?
Sorry,
Ensign.
Oh no,
at the end.
she gets up with a big black bruise on her face.
Right.
Right. Okay. So we're still walking wounded, basically.
Engineer Somek says they appear to be highly resistant to stuns.
Good to know. I flip a switch on my phase pistol. Okay. I think we need to be moving quickly. Doctor, can you stand?
Just a minute. Okay. And he shakes his head and stands up.
Right.
Right. I think we're going to need to move post.
Agreed. Follow us and stay close, and they take off at a run. So everybody give me a fitness security difficulty 1.
I'll give you a threat for a third dice, just so
Okay.
we could try to get some momentum. Observation or investigation count, or is this something different?
This is a physical endurance kind of thing.
All right, cool.
All right. 2 momentum.
Let's get some of that back.
It looks like a total of 3 momentum gained.
Something at the moment.
Yeah, so all of you managed to easily stay, keep up with the Vulcans, and soon they lead you up into kind of a plateau and into a system of caves. Throw some icons on the board here.
Giant Vulcan.
Yep. Yeah, so they take you into the cave, return to their true size, and eat you.
Not again.
I knew it.
Well, it wasn't Vulcans. It was Romulans.
The entrance to this cave forced all of you to hands and knees it. Terrell informed you that the Zenti don't seem to like tight spots. So here, kind of laying on makeshift pallets made of looks like some maybe some pieces of clothing, packs and whatnot, are 2 Vulcans, one of whom has a rudimentary kind of splint on her right leg, running from her knee to her ankle. The other one is has been elevated to where he's kind of slightly reclined, and seems to be he's definitely very pale, and appears to he's clutching a field blanket over him and shivering his sleep.
that happens to yours, Doctor?
My first instinct is to go to the one that is pale and shaking.
Right. Still too big. That's close enough. So, okay, so yes. Obviously ill. What do you do, Doc?
Sorry, I was distracted for a second. Am I familiar with the illness they said, or
No. Vulcans generally are pretty reticent about their biology and medical problems. Witness, Bones' continual bitching in the original series.
is one of them a medical officer that I can at least get some information out of in order to help him?
Are you going to ask them?
Yes. I have no knowledge of Vulcan illnesses and a rudimentary knowledge of their anatomy, so
Okay.
I need assistance.
So which one are you asking, Somak or Terrell? I guess you could ask
Whichever one's next to me.
Yeah, Terrell. So what do you ask her?
I'm not familiar with Vulcan illnesses. Is there anything I should know in order to help treat the patient?
I am no doctor, but he is showing all the classic signs of what we call lung lock fever. This planet has a very high moisture content within the air. As a species that developed in a desert world, we do not do well in over long-term exposure to such an atmosphere. Particularly older and younger Vulcans can fall prey to lung lock, where the air sacs within the lungs begin to fill with fluid and restrict breathing, and also subsequent infections set in. It is an uncommon illness on those of us in the exploratory and scientific corps are taught to watch out for its symptoms. Satek is our team leader and the eldest of us, while Somak is showing early signs. Satek succumbed quite early and severely.
Okay, what is the usual treatment for such a disease?
She says, usually antibiotics to fight the secondary infections, and then oxygen and removal to a very dry environment.
Okay. I should be able to give him some antibiotics with my field kit, but oxygen might be a problem at the moment. I don't have anything major like that on me. I have. Wait, can I check to see if I have like a small oxygen container, something that would be used in like poison situations where they need emergency oxygen?
Give me an insight, reason, medicine difficulty. Okay, so you get a momentum. You do not have an oxygen container. You do have triox compound, which is it's an injectable, and it's designed to let humanoids function more comfortably and safely in low oxygen environments. What it does is it releases oxygen directly into the patient's bloodstream. An injection will provide extra oxygen for an hour or so.
that could work to get it to at least allow him to be stable enough to move without any further complications from the illness. Right. Antibiotics and then administer some of this trioxane.
Sure.
Compound.
Control medicine difficulty. Well, it's difficulty 1.
Give me a minute.
Sure. Yeah, another momentum gained. So I think they should be at 4 momentum, if I'm not mistaken. There you go. All right, so that does seem to ease him a bit, but you can tell that he's definitely, I mean, there's a watery wheeze to his breathing, and he seems to be working awfully hard to breathe. He is the injection with the hypospray kind of brings him groggily around. It's, Starfleet.
Take it easy. Take it easy. Don't need you coughing up a lung on me now.
You must get my team to safety.
Okay, first things first, we got to make sure that you can come along with us.
He kind of waves his hand. Secondary importance. Team.
Yes. You Vulcans and the needs of the many outweighing the needs of the few. I understand.
Logical.
It's not much more I can do for him right now, so kind of check on the one with the wounded leg.
Okay. Appears to have been a bad break that has been manually, well, you would guess was manually set and splinted. Time-honored, primitive but effective field medicine. But definitely, she's not going anywhere on this leg as it is.
Outside of getting her back to the ship, there's the only thing I can do for her is maybe give her some painkillers and see if she was able to at least stand on the other leg with that.
Well, you are carrying a standard med kit.
Yes, I am.
Which does include both dermal and whatever the bone is called.
Yes. Let's do what we can then.
The one that's called bone regenerator. Or an osteo.
Yes, let's use the bone fixer.
All right.
Bone magic.
Are you going to scan the wound?
Yeah, let's scan
first.
Let's scan it first and make sure I'm not just jabbing at the wrong spot and hoping that it works.
So, control medicine difficulty 1. Right. Throw off a couple momentum here. It's a bad break in multiple spots. And while they did a pretty good job of setting it, they didn't quite set it straight. So before you can do regeneration, bone regeneration, you are actually going to want to have to re-break and reset it. Or otherwise it's going to be crooked. And
I have good news and bad news for you.
She cocks one elegant eyebrow.
Good news is I can fix it. The bad news is, can one of you help me over here? We need to break the leg again.
Doctor, before we start breaking people's legs, maybe
I can't fix it without breaking it.
But even if you fix it, is she going to be able to walk on it today?
She should be able to.
After the osteo and dermal regeneration.
How long will that take?
Shouldn't take
Um,
too long.
My concern is that the alien friends know we're here now, and we don't want to hang around.
Yeah, I
We're
mean,
in a place where they don't seem to want to go.
it'll take an hour or so.
Then she'll be walking as if nothing happened.
I suppose we can spare an hour. In that time, I can probably rig up a stretcher for our other friend there to get him out of here. He's definitely not walking out, I assume.
He needs a little time to let the antibiotics do their thing as well.
I'll see what I can do myself. I'll leave you to it. I'm very conscious of the time, then. That's why we're getting prompts on when the place is going to explode and we get stranded wherever we are.
We'll be fine. The commander and the lieutenant won't.
I was going to say, we will be fine.
We have a battery pack to a portal that leads us back to their ship, presumably.
We don't know. We could.
So,
we
to
haven't
fix up the Vulcan officer, it's going to be control medicine difficulty 2.
Emergency medicine?
Oh yes.
Can't think of anything more emergency than this.
Emergency medicine. Break the leg!
Yeah, that's why you've got the raised complication range. Of course, you have local anesthetics and stuff.
Do I have anything? Yeah, okay. I was going to say that without anesthetics, that'd be fine. I was going to say that on.
Yeah, you've got Star Trek medical officer's magic bag.
Yeah,
Bag. Fine.
full of stuff that helps.
If I need to, I could just knock someone out.
All right. So,
Right.
but yeah, you can. So the difficulty 2 is because you're having to break and reset and do all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so you make that without any problem. You gain 1 momentum out of it.
You're probably not too happy with me for having break your leg again.
Probably doesn't make a nice noise.
She actually takes it quite stoically. Doesn't even seem to flinch. Well, for one thing, she can't feel it what you're doing. But she does say at one point when you break it and reset it, fascinating.
Every human in the vicinity sighs.
Every human in the vicinity winces and looks away.
Very true. So
I'm fine. This isn't the worst I've seen.
Oh no, but still, it's not pleasant.
Engineer friend, maybe. This is the worst they've seen.
Oh no, I cleaned up after the Zindi attack. It's just bad memory. Still, I think with that done, so now was that just to break the leg, or was that to fix everything?
Broke the leg.
She's that was the whole procedure.
Broke the leg, reset it, and then fixed it
about
up.
An hour has passed. Yeah, and definitely a scene change. Sorry about that. So get down 1 momentum. Everybody who has taken stress damage, the stress damage goes away.
More importantly, we get to avoid injuries again.
That's right.
Yeah, I fixed up my leak. It's fine.
So, what's your next plan?
Well, I was going to talk to the doctor about this, and the Vulcans who are not the sick captain or leader or whatever.
Right.
So
I'd be right by the sick one. I wasn't going to leave him after I fixed up the other one.
Okay.
Okay.
So
well, I'll be speaking to the Vulcans.
Yeah, these 3 basically.
Yeah. Okay. We've got to get back to the wormhole generator, and then with that we can get back to the research facility, and from there we have a shuttle that we can go back to our ship with. Then we'll all be fine. The difficulty, I think, right now is going to be getting your leader back to the portal. Now that we've had the doctor work his magic, I was going to say, this is really going to be your choice. I don't know how easily we're going to be able to move him, and if we're attacked, then that's going to be a problem if we're carrying him with us.
Somek, the engineer, says constructing a litter or stretcher should not present any difficulty.
Also have to remember, Vulcans are way stronger than humans.
I know. No, I know. I'm just, like I say, I'm talking
Yeah.
as the character would.
However, you are
Yeah.
correct. Even if we use a litter, one of us will be moving, at least one of us will be moving more slowly and will not be able to react as quickly to any attacks. If we use a stretcher, we will be able to move faster, but then two of us will not be able to react to attacks.
Indeed. That is the conundrum we have now. The doctor, of course, is going to be keeping an eye on him, but I believe both one or two of you will be the ones who are carrying him. So you'll be bearing the risk in this case. I wanted to see what your thoughts were. He's not saying it, but he's thinking in the concept of triage. Do we take this guy back if he's going to get us all killed? And he's presenting it to the Vulcans as the people, because again, we're the rescue
I
party.
want to assume that the entire time we're saying this, he is just waving at me, weakly saying, "Leave me."
Pretty much. Also, while you
That's not my call.
while you and Somek are having this conversation, Terrell and Tassal are using are laying out pieces of their uniform and bags and equipment, and discussing the type of equivalent of bamboo and what they will need to construct a stretcher.
Right.
Would have informed the Vulcans that he was telling us to. He kept telling me to leave them. It's up to them to make their logical assumptions on what to do.
Dr. Satek is feverish. Leaving behind such an accomplished scholar and intellect is illogical and would be of tremendous loss to the Vulcan Academy of Science.
And you're suggesting that we take him back with us, and we bear the risk for going through this jungle with the dangerous aliens that we faced previously.
If we are going to take him back, because of them out there, it would make most sense logically to have one person carry him. Yeah, that way that we have an additional person ready to fire if they come.
Terrell cocks an eyebrow at, I believe, Erickson, who was that said that. She says, you, of course, are under no obligation to remain with us as we move towards the ruins. We will happily take our own. We will take our own chances, but we will not leave Dr. Satek behind.
Well, my mission and the mission of everyone here is to recover you. So, if you're bringing him with us, we're coming with you.
As a doctor, I cannot leave a patient unattended.
Somek
if he's
says,
coming with us, then I will remain with him.
Somek goes to a pile of belongings and pulls out basically a camping knife, closer to machete, and says, I will go cut the necessary boughs for a litter, and I will carry the doctor. So, and he trots off.
I think myself and our security officer will go with him.
I wouldn't leave anybody alone, especially after we just got attacked by them. We don't know if they're going to come back.
Yeah, so we'll go with him.
All right. And unfortunately, it is 4 o'clock, a hair after. So I'm afraid that this is where we leave it until 2 weeks from today.